Hey, welcome back to the Big Ranch Show. As always, thank you for joining me. If you could, hit that subscribe button down below and let's get right to it. Now, a while back there was a discussion over in the UK about a baby who was born with a very rare disease where there wasn't much prognosis of survival, and everybody in the world was all concerned about it. And part of the problem was that the British health agency, or whatever they call themselves, would not allow for this child to travel overseas to get an operation or surgery that they thought, or that doctors thought, might be able to save the child's life. And it became a huge stink. And finally, the courts in the UK finally said no, and the child did end up passing away. Now, what I got from a lot of friends on social media and stuff like that, and saw across Twitter, was that, oh, that would never happen in America. That's why we can't have a thing like any kind of socialized medicine, or, healthcare for all, or anything like that. We can't do that because this right here, what happened to this child, could happen. And under the program, the system we have now, that could never happen, right? This is America, right? You could never, ever have that happen. Mm-mm. You would never get denied a surgery that could save your life. At all. No, that would never happen, would it? In our current system, that would never happen. That is the biggest bunch of bullshit I have ever heard. And the story I'm about to bring you will show you exactly why that is a pile of bullshit. And you should not believe it. And this is something that happens more often than you would think. A mother of a 4-year-old child, 38 years old, was diagnosed a few months after giving birth to her 4-year-old child of having colon cancer. Stage 4 colon cancer at that. The woman went on to and did well with treatment and everything, and she was cancer free in the colon area. They removed all the cancer, and she went through treatment. But the thing is, 2 tumors developed in her liver because the cancer had spread to her liver when she had the colon cancer. And during the operation to remove these 2 tumors last year, something very tragic happened, and it left her having basically a liver that doesn't function properly at all. It left basically a hole in her liver. And ever since that point, she's been struggling to live. Basically, she's clinging to life with very little hope. Every fever, every infection could be her last, very easily. It makes what I deal with, being scared of getting the flu or really bad case of bronchitis or pneumonia, makes it seem like chump change. It makes it seem like it doesn't even matter. Because this lady, she could get a cold and that could end her. So what do her doctors, her oncologists say? Over at the Cleveland Clinic and her other clinic in Seattle, they said the only thing they think that'll save this woman at all is a full liver transplant. She was approved by her doctors. Doctors said everything was good, that she was a good candidate for it, and that it's very likely that because of the way things happened and the fact that it wasn't the cancer that caused her liver to be failing, but it was a botched surgery that caused it to be failing by a doctor, then they thought she would be a good candidate. It didn't have to do with the cancer ruining her liver or anything like that. But she was approved, right? You would think, okay, well, the doctor said that you're good to go for a transplant. Let it happen, right? Wrong. Now, this woman has been fighting with her insurance company since February 2nd, since this happened, since she was told that a transplant would save her life. She's been fighting with UnitedHealthCare ever since. They denied her multiple times. She called on the phone. She talked to him. Her husband talked to him. She explained how she was dying and how without the transplant, she would die. During all this time, this left her months behind on possibly getting a new liver. And it can take a long time to get the liver for somebody. It can take a long time for that to happen. And this woman has to basically the end of the year. You can say that, well, no one has a timestamp on the end of their, on their foot that tells them when they're going to go. No one has an expiration date. You can say that all you want. But there's a very high probability that this lady will pass away within the year if she doesn't get her transplant. So she needed to be on that transplant list as soon as the doctors verified that she would be a good candidate to be on said list. But her insurance company repeatedly denied her. She's on the phone with the person in the representative for the company's like, I understand what you're going through. And her response is, no, you don't understand what I'm going through. I'm dying. And to sit there and be so disingenuous that you know what a dying person's going through. I won't even make that claim. I have no clue what people are going through. I could not imagine the pain and anguish this woman is facing. I could not imagine what she's going through. Her husband, her child even. But over and over again, she was denied. Over and over again told, no, your life isn't worth it. You're not important enough. Sure, you've paid your health care. Sure, you've paid your premiums. But we're not going to help you. We don't care. Is what United Health was basically telling her and her family. And I'm sure this is repeated across the country every single day. So don't sit there and try and tell me that having health care for all, where everybody gets the things taken care of they need taken care of, is a problem. Or any worse than what we're dealing with now. Now, the situation in the UK was very traumatic. It was very devastating to me. It was very sad to see a child left there to not survive. And I don't understand why they didn't let the kid leave the country to get the surgery, even when the other people said they would do it without the British government having to pay for it. That's what I don't want. I believe that if you can go get the surgery done elsewhere and they think it'll be successful, then by God, you should be allowed to do it. As long as it's a legitimate place to go get a surgery done. We're not talking about some Jim Bob's School of Medicine, done out of some barn. It was a well-known hospital in France offering to do the procedure for the little kid. But in this situation with Erica Zack is her name, 38 years old, dying of liver failure, and needs a transplant. Finally, after months and months of fighting with them, she penned a letter to the CEO of UnitedHealthCare and their parent organization. And continuing, another time came through. Another denial came through the system. But finally, a few days after she got word or got notification that her letter was received by the CEO of the company, a few days later, they finally reversed their decision. Didn't give an explanation for why, just that they were reversing their decision. And so obviously the letter had something to do with it. This woman has been fighting for her life, and she continues to fight for her life, to be there for her child, to be there for her husband, to be there for her family. And she didn't take no for an answer. So to Erica Zack, I say, good job, keep fighting. And I hope you get your transplant in time. I am glad your healthcare finally approved it. I am sorry you had to go fighting for it like this. There should have been no reason that they left your life hanging in the balance like that. There is no excuse. There is no excuse for what they did to you. The fact is, you should have been on that waiting list for a transplant February 2nd. But I'm glad you kept fighting, that you didn't take their no for an answer, that you kept fighting for yourself and fighting for your family. And I'll sit here and I will pray for you and hope that there's an update, that CNN gives an update on the story, because this is where I got the story from. And I hope there's an update, and I hope that update's a good one, that you get your liver. I hope that's what you get. I hope you get your surgery, and I hope you're able to live a good, long life afterwards. To UnitedHealthCare, you are scum of the earth. To sit there and make this woman languish and suffer, thinking that she wasn't going to get this surgery, delaying her multiple months for a surgery that she needs now. She needed to be on that list. And to make this woman suffer like that, you are scum. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say UnitedHealthCare is the only one. I'm sure other companies do the same thing to their people, to the people that have paid their premiums. But that's what happened in this one. It was UnitedHealthCare. You want to sit there and play games with people's lives? Get the hell out of healthcare. You have no business in healthcare if you want to play games with people's lives. And then your representative sitting there back like you understand what they're going through. The only person understanding what they're going through is the person who is dying, not you on the other end of the phone whose life is all good and peachy. Who doesn't have to worry that their liver could fail tomorrow and end their life. Or that they could get a small infection that the rest of us could fight off. But it would kill them. So to any healthcare agency out there, or company out there, that is wanting to play games with people's lives, on behalf of all Americans with healthcare, let me give you a big screw you. You can all go to hell. Because people's lives are not a fucking game. They are not a game. Americans' lives are worth more than that. You owe the people that pay their premiums your services. That's why they pay you for your business. You make billions of dollars a year. Billions a year. And you don't give a shit about your people. These people are the reason you get paychecks. These are the reason all those representatives you have jobs. And you want to sit there and play games. But I will say this. I'll say thank you to UnitedHealthCare for finally growing a pair and doing the right thing. To Erica Zach, I'll be praying for you. Good luck in the future, and I hope you get this liver transplant, and I hope it helps you out a whole lot. This has been the Big Ranch Show. I'm Jacob Keck, and I'll see you down the road. Things like this just really piss me off. I really don't understand how you can play games with people's lives.